So UFC Fight Night, Robert Whittaker versus Rainier DeRitter is going down this Saturday, and overall, it's a pretty good card. It's like basically a pay-per-view with a fight night on it. You know what I mean? Like this is worthy. If this had a title fight on the line, this would be considered a very good pay-per-view. So for a fight night, this is a 10 out of 10 fight night. All right. So we got people like Robert Whittaker. We got Shara Bullet. We got Marcus McGee. We got Piotr Yan. We got people like Bryce Mitchell on this card. Earth Flat Brother. We got Muslim Salakov. We got Rainier DeRitter, obviously. So Tony Has Died, I'm going to be breaking down this card from top to bottom. If you like the video, like and subscribe. It means so much to me. And let's get into the first prediction of the card, which is Martin Buday versus Marcus Bucheya. Marcus Bucheya, he's basically this guy. He used to fight at 1FC. He's not like a super like good heavyweight. He's 35 years old. He's a submission artist, right? And he's fighting Martin Buday, right? And Martin Buday, he's kind of sneaky in the UFC, right? This guy has a 6-1 record in the UFC. His only loss being to the legend, the one and only Shamil Gaziev, right? However, I'm going to be picking Marcus Bucheya in this fight. He is a really good submission artist. The main reason I'm picking him is because of Martin Buday's split decision to Andre Arlovsky, in which he basically should have lost to Andre Arlovsky, right? And this was a year ago. This is not like a good version of Andre Arlovsky. This is a very shitty version. And I know Andre Arlovsky's given people like Waldo Cortez Acosta problems in the past, and he's given some other people. He got pretty sure he got to the second round with Tom Aspinall as well. So maybe I'm overrating this performance a little bit. But Andre Arlovsky he sucks in this year. So that performance really turned me off to Martin Buday. And besides that, he hasn't really beaten anybody good. He's beaten people like Jake Collier. He's beaten people like Josh Parisian. And yeah, I'm going to be picking Marcus Bucheya to win this fight. The next fight on the card, we got Muhammad Yaya versus Stephen Inguan. Inguan? I don't know. It's Vietnamese. I can't speak it very well, But I'm going to be picking Stephen Inguan to knock out Muhammad Yaya in the first round. This is the only UFC fighter from the Middle East officially. Like Chimaev reps UAE as well, but he's not from the UAE, right? This is one of the only fighters actually from, like, Bilal Muhammad reps Palestine. This is the only fighter they got out the UAE, right? And he's terrible, completely dog water. He's 0-2 in the UFC. Lost to Trevor Peek, which is horrendous, and then he lost to Caio Fernandez by knockout. So this guy's been absolutely destroyed in his 2 UFC fights. And Stephen Inguan, he has 2 Dana White's Contender Series fights wins. He beat AJ Cunningham, which is, I think AJ Cunningham is a better fighter than Muhammad Yaya. I know that's not like we're picking at the bottom of the barrel here for comparisons, but I just think Stephen's going to get it done. First round knockout. He's going to catch his first real W inside the UFC. So I'm going to be picking Stephen to win this fight. Ooh, what the fuck was that? The next fight on this card is we got Ibo Aslon versus Billy Elana. Now, if you guys remember Billy Elana, he actually stepped up on short notice and fought Bogdan Guskov, right? And in that fight, he just looked really stale, right? He basically went out there, did a whole lot of nothing, and then got subbed. Ibo Aslon, on the other hand, he was an undefeated UFC fighter before his last performance where he fought Ion Cutelaba and got absolutely destroyed by Ion Cutelaba. But he's 29 years old. He has a very promising future in the UFC. He beat Anton Kozolek, the Pleasure Man, if you remember correctly. He beat Rafael Cercina. I can't really pronounce his name right, but there's no shame in losing to the 2 people that both of these guys lost to. Like, there's no shame in losing to Cutelaba, and there's no shame in losing to Guskov. And now, I do think that loss to Guskov will probably age better for Billy Elakana. However, I'm just going to have to pick Ibo Aslon in this fight. And here's why. Ibo Aslon is a good fighter, and he made some mistakes, but I think he'll be able to implement a similar style that Bogdan did on the feet against Billy Elakana while this fight was on the feet. This guy, he's just not that good. Like, he doesn't really belong in the UFC. Ibo Aslon has proven himself with a couple of good W's. He's from Turkey. Remember, Turkish power! You know, I'm definitely not just picking him because he said Turkish power, right? But I just think that Ibo Aslon, he has like super, super good knockout power. And Billy Elakana, he gets hit a little too much for my liking. So I think that Ibo Aslon will find the chin of Billy in the first round, put him down, finish him off with some ground and pound, hop on the mic, post-mic press conference, and just go fucking crazy on the mic. So I'm picking Ibo Aslon to win this fight. The next bathroom break is Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Reichi. I'm not going to spend too long on this. Honestly, this fight could go either way, but I'm just going to say this, bro. If this goes to a close decision, they're going to give it to Tabitha Reichi because they've given every single close decision to Tabitha Reichi in her last couple fights, right? She did not beat Angela Hill, got the decision. She did not beat Tisha Pennington, got the decision. The fight with Jillian Robertson could have gone either way. So arguably, Tabitha Reichi could be on a 5-fight losing streak right now. But the reason I'm picking her is because anytime it goes to a close fight, she gets the fucking judge, right? And so, yeah, Ribas might have a good, like, you know, she might have actual finishes in the UFC or whatever, and she's actually the favorite in this fight, but I just don't trust the judges. Like, if you don't know, Tabitha Reichi is dating Callum Walsh, who is, like, this young boxer that Dana White promotes, so there's clearly favoritism when it comes to Tabitha Reichi fights, and I know this fight is going to be close. And honestly, all Reichi has to do is get a takedown. Like, she could get the fuck beat out of her on the feet the whole time. If she gets a takedown, like, with 2 minutes left and does nothing with it, it doesn't matter. She's going to get that round. So I'm going to be picking Tabitha Reichi to win this fight. I do think that she'll probably win outright anyways because Ribas just isn't that good either. I mean, she lost to fucking Mackenzie Dern by sub, and she lost to Nama Nunes. Nama Nunes is good. Dern is good. But you got to beat 2024, Rose Namajunas if you want to be anything in this sport. So I'm going to be picking Tabitha Reichi in this one, all right? The next fight on the card is Davy Grant versus Damon Blackshere. And I'm going to be picking the underdog here. I'm going to be picking dangerous Davy Grant to defeat Damon Blackshere. And it honestly comes down to this, man. I think that Davy Grant is in his prime right now. At the ripe age of 39 years old, Davy Grant is the definition of an unk in the UFC. And he's got a pretty good resume. If you count the Yanez split decision, that was prime Yanez. And if you count the Daniel Marcos split decision, Davy Grant should be a fucking ranked pretty sure this is bantamweight. Yeah, he should be a ranked bantamweight, okay? And on the other hand, we got Damon Blackshere. He's beating people like Alatingi Alatang, and he's beating people like Cody Gibson, who's terrible. He's beating Cody Stamen, right? But anytime we see Damon Blackshere take a step up, like he did against Montel Jackson or he did against Mario Batista, he loses. And now you can say that the Mario Batista fight should have gone to Damon Blackshere, and that's fair. But at the end of the day, he still lost, okay? And I just think Davy Grant, he has really good striking, super crafty striking, and he has good takedown defense. And Damon Blackshere, he's going to be chasing submission in this fight. He's going to be trying to get Davy Grant down to choke him unconscious, and I just don't think Davy Grant is going to let Damon Blackshere take him down. And when Damon Blackshere is going to be stuck on the feet with Davy Grant, he's going to know what I don't even know, bro, but he's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good for Damon Blackshere if it stays on the feet, because you remember his last fight against Cody was it Cody Stamen? No, it was the Asian guy, Alatang. When he fought Alatang, right? he on the feet, it looked so bad. He looked so bad on the feet. And I think in the striking, I think the biggest advantage for anyone in this fight is Davy Grant on the feet, and it will stay there for at least 2 rounds. So, yeah, man, I'm going to be picking Davy Grant to get this one done. I know he's an underdog, but he's crafty, bro. He's good, and I'm going to be picking him to get it done. Give me 1 second here. The next fight on this card is Muslim Salakov versus Carlos Leal. And listen, I'm picking Carlos Leal to brutally knock out Muslim Salakov in the first round. And it comes down to this. He should be 2-0 in the UFC. And he should have the win over Rinat Fakhretdinov in his debut on short notice. Now, I get what you're saying. He was roided up to the gills. He had spots all over his chest. He was looking jacked as fuck. So even if you think that he won, you could say he's not on steroids anymore, right? But at the end of the day, Muslim Salakov is 41 years old. He lost to Randy Brown, brutally knocked out by Randy Brown. He lost to Nicholas Dalby. And I think Nicholas Dalby and Carlos Leal are on a similar level, right? Now, he's on a 2-fight win streak against old-ass Wash Kanan Song. And honestly, the fight with Ponzinibbio could have also gone either way. It was a split decision. I honestly thought Pons could have got it, but I just don't think Muslim Salakov is here to stay in the UFC, and I think Carlos Leal is going to be a real problem at welterweight. I think he gives a lot of ranked people. Like, I think Carlos Leal would beat Kevin Holland, you know, especially after that last performance against D-Rod. Like, Carlos Leal would beat D-Rod. He'd probably knock out Wonder Boy if I had to guess. I mean, that would be a good fight, him versus Wonder Boy. Bonfim, like, these are people that we're thinking that Carlos Leal should be fighting next, especially after the this fight with Rinat, right? And now they're getting him a step down. Like, this is a step down in comp for Carlos Leal. And not only that, he brutally knocked out Alex Morono in his last fight. Like, bad. So, yeah, I'm going to be picking Carlos Leal. This is a no-brainer. Anyone that's picking Salakov, go jump off a bridge. You're not getting this one right, all right? The next fight on the card we got, brother, the earth is flat, man. The earth is flat. You know, Israel's in the walls. We got Bryce, Thug Nasty Mitchell versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. Now, don't let the name Nurmagomedov, persuade you to pick him, because this guy is not related to Khabib or Islam or Umar or any of the brothers. Now, he is from Dagestan, but he does not train with Khabib. He's not related to Khabib. Just got the name Nurmagomedov, and that's why he is a minus 130 favorite. Now, this fight is a pick'em. Bryce Mitchell is a plus 100 underdog, and he's coming off the brutal loss to Gene Silva, where he got packed out, all right? Let's just say what it is. He had nothing for Gene Silva on the feet or on the ground, and I am still going to be picking Bryce Mitchell to defeat Saeed Nurmagomedov, and here's why. But first off, I want to kind of talk about the reasons to pick Saeed in this fight, because I have to talk about why I think Bryce will be able to negate these, right? Saeed has a very good guillotine, and what's concerning about this fight is the fact that Bryce Mitchell just got put away with a ninja choke, right? And so he just got subbed in his last fight with a similar kind of choke to what Saeed is good at. And I think that Bryce Mitchell moving down to 135 is going to have such a big size advantage that he will be able to get his takedowns on Saeed Nurmagomedov. And he was already an elite pressure grappler who's really good at chaining his takedowns together. I think once he gets the takedown, there's no getting up for Saeed, because he was already good at holding people down. Like, he held down Dan Ige, he held down Kron Gracie, and then eventually got the elbow on Kron Gracie. And I think that if Bryce Mitchell is able to take Saeed down, Saeed's not going to get up, all right? And here's the other thing. Saeed has lost to really good strikers in the past. Like, that's his weakness, is someone who's a good striker. Bryce Mitchell has underrated striking. Okay, I know he got fucked up by Gene Silva and he got slept by Josh Emmett, right? you can't let those performances deter you. If you look at his fight with Ilya, bro, I know he lost to Ilya as well, but he was doing some crafty shit on Ilya. He was avoiding his strikes. I think Bryce Mitchell has underrated striking. I think he'll be able to get Saeed down and hold him there. And on the feet, I think he'll be able to hold his own. And even if he doesn't get the takedowns, he'll be able to push Saeed against the cage, land some knees to the thigh, land some fucking toe stomps, and USA in this hoe. We're standing with Bryce, all right? And he should have said what he said, okay? All right, enough of that. The next fight on the card, we got Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Gruskov. Bogdan Gruskov. If you remember Breaking Bad, fuck you, Bogdan! Right? But he looks like a clone of Anthony Smith. You know, BJ Penn, look at his ass, look at his legs, look at his head. He's a clone of Anthony Smith. This is Anthony Smith in a mask, right? But I'm going to be picking Gruskov to knock out Krylov out cold. Now, I don't think Krylov is very impressive in the UFC, right? He has the fight with Oezdemir, which that's impressive to beat Oezdemir, but you know, that just means you deserve to be ranked at light heavyweight, right? His win over Gustafsson, it was an old version of Gustafsson coming back after a long layoff, right? And then he has the win over Ryan Spann, and ultimately, this is the fight that made Ryan Spann have to switch divisions, right? So, he got knocked out by Dominic Reyes in his last fight. Counter left, it was literally just like a mirror image of the Conor McGregor knockout, right? Literally just step back left hand. Same thing, he landed on Jose Aldo. Dominic Reyes landed on Krylov, right? However, on the other side of the octagon, he's going to be facing Bogdan Gruskov. And I really just like the momentum that Bogdan is carrying himself into in this fight. He also knocked out Ryan Spann. He knocked out Zach Plaga. Excuse me. He choked Billy Elakana out, who we were talking about earlier, right? I just like the momentum that Gruskov is bringing into this fight. He has really slick striking, and I just think that this turnaround is too quick for Krylov. He literally got slept probably 3 months ago, and now he's stepping into the octagon again against somebody who has really good striking and honestly has similar striking to Dominic Reyes, right? So, yeah, man, I'm going to be picking Bogdan Gruskov to get this one done. The next fight on the card, we got Asu Almabayev versus Jose Okea. And listen, man, listen. I want you to hear me now and hear me well. Jose Okea will be fighting for a belt in the future. Ochea, however you pronounce his name. Ochea, Okea. I don't give a fuck how you pronounce his name. I'm picking him to win this fight via first round knockout. Now listen, Asu Almabayev, he is good, all right? Don't get me wrong. And his only loss has been to Manel Kape, okay? And, you know, he has put on a good little win streak in the UFC. He beat Jose Johnson. He beat Mateus Nicolau. He beat CJ Vergara, right? But all of those people I just listed are mid, okay? They are people that are bums at flyweight. Like, they are victims at victim weight, okay? And you look at what Jose Okea did. Ochea. Oh, God, I don't know how to fucking pronounce his name. Ochoa. Someone please in the comments tell me how to pronounce his name because I'm super high on this guy, all right? He's 24 years old, too. Super young, but if you look at him, bro, he just brutally knocked out Cody Durden. And Cody Durden has been a staple of flyweight for a long time. And he made him look easier than anybody's ever made. And then you look at his fight with Loner Kavanaugh, who I think will be a future champion in the flyweight division. Someone who was he was super competitive with Loner Kavanaugh. So I don't like this for Asu, bro. I just feel like he's taking this fight because he wants to fight, and he should be looking for someone that he can beat, like maybe Tim Elliott or Kai Asakura coming off a loss. Whoever loses that one, that's who he should be trying to fight, right? I think that Ochoa can do some similar things that Kape was doing, overwhelming Asu with volume, and I think that Ochoa can do the same thing, and I honestly think he's got more power too. He is going to find the knockout on Asu Almabayev, I think in the first round, bro, because I do think that Asu is a little overrated in terms of skill, just because he's destroyed a bunch of cans. But how do you not finish CJ Vergara? Like, that is something that kind of worries me, you know? CJ Vergara, he's the biggest piece of dog shit. As The Rock says, he's terrible. And Asu couldn't finish him, right? And the cop fight, I know it was short notice. And, you know, shit happens, right? You lose a couple of fights every once in a while. But I just think that Ochoa can kind of just has a similar style to Cop. Not similar style, but like, I think he can replicate some of the success that Cop had in the striking department. And I'm going to be picking him to knock out Asu. So yeah. The next fight on the card is Shara Bullet. Ignore the comment and like button, all right? I was trying to take a screenshot, all right? But the next fight on the card is Marc-Andre Beru versus Shara Bullet Magomedov. And I will say this. I think Shara Bullet should be a bigger favorite than he is, and he's a minus 500 favorite. I'll say that outright, bro. Because I don't think Marc-Andre Beru was on his way to get cut from the UFC. He was on a 3-fight KO. Actually, he went to split with Chris Curtis, which is why another reason I don't rate Chris Curtis. But he got brutally knocked out by Joe Pyfer, and he got brutally knocked out by Dustin Stoltzfus. And then they gave him a fucking, you know, in his last fight against Bruno Silva, he did destroy Bruno Silva, right? Bruno Silva literally got taken out on a stretcher, if you guys remember correctly. But I just think that this is like a layup for Shara Bullet, because Shara Bullet has name value, and they were kind of hoping that Shara Bullet would beat MVP because it would like a super fun stylistic matchup. It was too much of a step up for Shara, too fast. I just think, you know, Shara is 31 years old. Marc-Andre Beru, he's 35, right? And this is just a layup for Shara Bullet, man. Like, Marc-Andre Beru is chinny. He just goes into the pocket with no will or no smarts. Just trying to fucking slug it out in there, man. And that's not what Shara Bullet's going to do. He's going to step back, counter right hand, maybe land some crazy, maybe like a roundhouse kick to the face KO. Maybe he'll do like an Anderson Silva-esque. I don't know, bro. But his hands aren't that good. But I'm going to say this about Shara Bullet. I think he has some of the best kicks in the UFC. His kicks are super fun to watch, and he just throws them out there so fast. It's like a fucking whip. And I don't think that... I just think that Shara Bullet's too good for Marc-Andre, all right? Like, Marc-Andre, he was on his way to getting cut. They gave him a layup in his last fight. This is a fucking comeback fight for Shara Bullet. He's going to get put on a poster. They probably gave him like $100K, like, please just fight Shara Bullet, please. And, yeah, this is going to be a slaughtering. Shara Bullet will brutally knock out Marc-Andre Beru in the first round. But I will say, there is a chance that this fight could get out of the first round because my bad. Shara Bullet kind of has pillow hands when it comes to, just with his hands. But with his feet, he's really good. The next fight on the card is Piotr No Mercy Yan versus Marcus the Predator McGee. Now, if you don't know about Marcus McGee, he's a chill guy, all right? He's a super, super chill guy. But I will say this. He is older than Peter Yan. He is the prospect in this fight. He is the person that's trying to make his name in the sport, an up-and-comer. He is 35 years old. He is coming off of a decision win over Jonathan Martinez, where in the third round of that fight, he was basically hobbling around on one leg, okay? And I think that this is a no-brainer, all right? I don't really understand the matchmaking for this one. I think everyone wanted to see Yan fight Umar, or Yan versus O'Malley 2, or even a rematch with Corey. I don't really get the matchmaking for the UFC giving Marcus McGee this fight, all right? But I will say this, bro. I do think that Peter Yan is going to get his first finish in a long time, all right? I don't think Marcus McGee is all that. We've seen, we saw Jose Aldo watch Jose Aldo, is mind you, completely masterclass Jonathan Martinez, right? And then we saw Jonathan Martinez almost defeat Marcus McGee. If he just had an ounce of fight IQ, kept pumping the leg kicks, he could have finished Marcus McGee. And I just think there's levels to this game, man. Like, we saw Peter Yan completely dismantle Jose Aldo, who is one of the best fighters of all time. We saw Peter Yan beat Aljamain Sterling in the first fight. Second fight was super close as well. You could give that to Yan. The O'Malley fight, you could give that to Yan as well. And honestly, with that, his only real loss at that point would be Merab Dvalishvili. And plain and simple, bro, Marcus McGee cannot replicate anything that Merab did to have success against Yan. And I don't think he can do anything to replicate the success that O'Malley did either. Peter Yan is one of the most technical and precise. And he is, when you watch Peter Yan, he just does everything right. He perfectly strikes. And the only thing that you could get better with Peter Yan is he's defended almost all of Merab's takedowns. So I'm not even going to say takedown defense. The only thing you could say is power, right? But I think in this fight, he will be landing really good low kicks on McGee, and I think he'll be landing pretty good body shots. McGee is built so, like, weird looking, right? And I just think that his body is going to be open to be hit a lot in this fight. Yan is going to get on the inside, and once he gets on the inside, he's going to start ripping boxing combinations, and he's going to be ripped, like, just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, you know, I'm just going to be doing crazy shit in the pocket. So I think this is a mismatch. I think everyone's picking Yan. Most people are going decision because it's a 3-rounder, but I just think that Yan is going to get his first finish in a while. I think he's going to overwhelm McGee. He's going to drop him, and he's going to finish him off with some ground and pound, kind of similar to the Aldo KO or maybe even the Uriah Faber KO. So I think that Peter Yan is going to just completely dismantle Marcus McGee. Even though I fuck with Marcus McGee, he's a cool guy, all right? But yeah, he's just going to completely destroy Marcus McGee. And for the main event, Robert Whittaker versus Reinier de Ridder. Now listen, man, word on the street is that Reinier de Ridder, he was meeting with the Coyote from the Roadrunner cartoon, right? And he was in bed with him, and they are getting a bunch of dynamite. They're getting a bunch of giant balls to roll at Robert Whittaker when he enters the octagon. And I'm gonna be picking Robert Whittaker to win this fight. And the reason I say this is that this fight kind of has like a Benoit Saint-Denis versus Poirier-esque energy to it. You know what I mean? It kind of has like Reinier de Ridder's kind of like on a Paddy Pimblett-esque win streak. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's on a 4-fight win streak, and the people he beat were GM3, and that fight was super, super close. Kind of similar to like the Jared Gordon fight. I know Jared Gordon, that fight could have been like a robbery, but you see what I mean? Like, he's going to a competitive he's having a very competitive fight with GM3, right? And then the next fight, he beat Kevin Holland. Now, Kevin Holland's not shit at middleweight, and we just found out Kevin Holland ain't shit at welterweight either, apparently. He just lost a fucking D-Rod. How fucking disgusting is that? But I don't really think the Kevin Holland fight is indicative of anything when it comes to displaying Reinier de Ridder's skills in the octagon, right? And then finally, he beat Bo Nickel. And I did pick Bo Nickel to win this fight. I thought he'd be able to take Reinier down. But it turns out that Bo Nickel is also bitch made. And he like literally just like, he's like, don't hit me, please, don't hit me. Like, he doesn't know what violence is. He doesn't have, like, he just destroyed all of his other opponents because of his grappling, and he actually got into a real MMA fight for the first time against de Ridder. And so Reinier de Ridder is someone who has 3 UFC fights. His whole career he's been at one championship, fighting bums. Okay, I know he's a double champ at one. And I just think that Robert Whittaker, this feels just like the fight he had against Ikram Alaskarov, where they're just giving Ikram a step up in comp for no reason. Like, Robert Whittaker is a former champion. This guy beat Yoel Romero twice. This guy arguably beat Adesanya. He beat Vettori. He beat Paulo Costa, and that win against Paulo Costa, it's aging like fine wine, right? Now, I know what people are thinking is like, bruh, Rainer de Ritter, he's the goofy goober of the UFC, and Drickus, he's also the goofy goober, and look what Drickus did to... I'm going to stop you right there, man. These Rainer de Ritter and Drickus fight nothing alike. The only thing they have is their unorthodoxness, where they look kind of stupid when they're fighting. But Drickus is a physical specimen like we've never seen in the UFC before. He's like a gorilla on a skateboard. And Rainer de Ritter, how would I describe him, man? He's like an orangutan on a skateboard. Meaning, he wants takedowns. And Robert Whittaker has some of the best takedown defense in the UFC. He's only been taken down by Chimaev. And he defended the fight. He defended the choke from Chimaev for a while before, Chimaev eventually put it right on his chin and cracked his chin, bro. But that's not going to happen again. Like that, I'm not going to say it was a fluke because I think Chimaev was going to do that to Whittaker anyways. But I just don't think that Rainer is going to get Whittaker down in this fight. He's going to be stuck on the feet with him. And I think that Whittaker is going to hit Rainer with the classic Whittaker combo. The 1-2 high kick. And I think Rainer is going to get put out. Not like cold. It's going to be like a TKO. He's going to like wobble around kind of like Ikram did, and then he's going to get finished off in the third round. This fight is so close, though, because ultimately, if Whittaker is washed, which there is evidence of him being washed, like the fight against Chimaev and the fight against Drickus, and, he's lost before, arguably lost to Yoel in his prime. Yoel shot a couple takedowns in their fight, and he couldn't get him. I think Whittaker is him, bro. Like he is a top 5 middleweight of all time. He was the boogeyman before there was the boogeyman. Like Whittaker is almost impossible to take down, and Rainer is going to need the takedown if he wants to win this fight, because when it's on the feet, it's night and day. And I just watch me say this and fucking Rainer knock out Robert Whittaker in the first round or some shit, bro. And I'm just like staring there looking at my TV, and everyone's going to be in my YouTube comments being like, bro, this aged like milk. It aged like no, bro. It didn't age like milk. It was just a fucking fluke. But yeah, man, I'm going to be picking Robert Whittaker to get this one done. I just think that on the feet, he has a very, very clear advantage. He has very good takedown defense. Yes, he got subbed in his last fight, but it's against Chimaev, who is the best wrestler the UFC has ever seen. Did you see the double leg he shot on Whittaker? Nobody is defending that, But yeah, that will do it for the video. Here are my picks. I'm picking Whittaker by knockout, Jan by knockout, Shara Bullet by knockout, Okoa by knockout, Guskov. This will be a good card. Guskov by knockout, picking Bryce Mitchell by decision, Carlos Leal by knockout, Davy Grant by decision. I meant to pick Reichi. I'm going to switch that on Tapology. Reichi by decision, Aslon by knockout, Inguan by knockout, and Bukea by knockout. Those are my picks for the card. If you like the video, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit. And listen, man, that main event, this is a real main event. This is what should be main eventing a fight night every time. No women's fights should be main event. This will get attention. And if especially, I'm low key, Robert Whittaker is one of my favorite fighters of all time. But we have to see the Goofy Goober matchup between RDR and Whittaker. So for the division's sake, I think it's better if Rainer wins because it's just a new, fresh matchup at the top. But I think Whittaker is going to get it done. 1-2 high kick knockout, third round. So those are my picks. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.